programs and missions, which includes intellectual property, zero defect and zero effect, lean manufacturing, and Sfurti. He has been an empaneled resource personnel for various training programs of National Productivity Council, Quality Council of India, and DPIIT, Ministry of Trade and Commerce. Dr. Kerr has been a national jury member for various events organized by the Confederation of Indian Industries and a member of ICC Academic Council. He is also an he is also acting as an advisor for academic, skill development, research and development, innovation, and IP management council to different institutions and universities in Odisha. Dr. Kerr was deputed to Zimbabwe as a national expert by the Government of India, and he has represented India as an expert to deliver keynote addresses in Indo-Japan Africa Joint Collaboration and International Cooperation Programs for SMEs and skill development. Dr. Kerr has also worked as a nodal officer for various industry development programs with international agencies such as UNIDO, GIZ, KPMG, and ILO, to name a few. As a researcher, Dr. Kerr is an approved guide to research scholars in emerging technology and management science and has presented several papers in national and international conferences on technical and management subjects. Dr. Kerr is also a recipient of various regional and national awards conferred by the Government of India, corporates, and leading institutions of India for his outstanding performance and achievements. So, with this very brief introduction, we welcome Dr. Sachikant sir. Sir, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to deliver this lecture, sir. So, we'd like to hand over the platform to you.
Just a minute. Is screen visible?
Yes, sir. Perfectly visible.
Okay, moving.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Would you like to go for the slideshow mode, sir?
Okay, fine. Sure. Very good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me for today's this weekly academic lecture of SHOAL, like SWA University and Civil Engineering Department. At the outset, I am very much thankful to the university for organizing such an innovative topic, which is the topic of the need of the hour for industry and academia of interest point of view. Thanks to Mr. John for having wonderful address and excitement and representing the student chapter. Thanks, Mr. Nishant Sharma, for coordinating and being in touch with me more than 2 weeks for this event. Sure. To talk with this topic today, it is a very important and pertinent topic and the need of the discussion in the both national and the global context. While going through this topic, my coverage will be innovation as a strategic tool in global prospect, Industry 4.0 and contemporary challenges, understanding IPR and its value as an asset, IP due diligence need, why and how, IP management strategy for universities, industries, and public institutions. Hope slides are moving. Able to see all my slides are getting changed?
Sorry, sir, they are not changing. Actually, sir, maybe you have to share your entire screen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute.
Instead of sharing a particular window, you'll have to select the option of share the entire screen, and then probably it will be visible.
it's not coming. It's something wrong.
No, sir. You just need to minimize this window. So you can just minimize it. Sir, your voice is muted. I can see your screen, sir. Your screen is being shared. Sir, are you going to? Yes, it's changing, sir. I'll request you to present it in the slideshow mode, sir. Slideshow mode. Sir, you're muted, sir. You need to unmute your mic.
Right.
Yes, sir. Sir, and sir, you may share. You may share your slides through the slideshow mode, if it's okay with you. Sir, it's the icon.
Is it okay? Able to see? Moving?
No, sir, it's not moving. I think, sir, you'll have to share the entire screen.
Actually, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
coming.
moving.
While sharing the entire screen,
Yes, sir.
it's not coming. It's not showing my presentation. Even though I minimized and tried.
Yes, it is showing.
Anyway,
It will show, sir. Maybe once you can try, I will guide you through.
okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
entire screen is not
Yeah.
coming. It's not coming.
Uh, so when you share,
It's not
present-
here. Entire screen. It is not showing my presentation. If I
so you just select that screen which is showing in front of you. Just select that screen. Whatever window is coming, you just select that to share, and then yes, sir. Now it's visible. Your screen is visible, and sir, now you may go for the slideshow mode.
it's okay. Coming now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Changing.
No, sir, it's not changing.
Now you can see. I think.
Yes, sir. Now, yes, sir, I think we can
Right,
go
so
with
there's a
that.
problem. You can manage in this way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. So,
absolutely fine.
before I start talking, let me talk quickly about the CTTC as an organization, our the linkage and activities with respect to the IP and innovations. Central Tool and Training Center is known as MSME Technology Center at Bhubaneswar, the Ministry of Government of India. There are 13 such centers, 33 such centers in India, and CTTC is one of the best performing and leading organizations in the country into the training, production, and consultant service activities. Training, it is conducting programs right from the school dropout till postgraduate certification programs. More than 50,000 trainees per year are being trained from here. And also, in collaboration with Ministry of External Affairs, we have been conducting similar kind of the program, setting up infrastructure capacity building activities and infrastructure development in other developing countries under the bilateral cooperation program of the Government of India and Ministry of External Affairs. We are also production center which are having equipped with the state-of-the-art facilities, the latest world-class machines and equipment, high precision for manufacturing of the precision tools, dies, and components. And I'm happy to share that we are the technology center which is capable of manufacturing very high precision components and assemblies. We are the technology partner to Indian Space Research Organization and associated with all space mission program like Mars mission, Chandrayaan mission, Gaganyaan mission, as a technology partner, not as a vendor or a supplier, as a technology partner. Also for the LCA, Light Combat Tejas aircraft, which has been inducted to the Indian Air Force, and it was developed by Aeronautical Development Agency. From the very early stage, right from the prototype development, we are associated with this project development, and we are the OEM supplier for manufacturing, assembling, and testing of different type of line replaceable units and other hardware for the Tejas aircraft. This is the only technology center in India under the Ministry of MSME who is having this level of capabilities. Apart from this, we are having a consultancy division services. We provide various kinds of techno management consultancy services for the development of micro, small and medium enterprises with respect to their productivity improvement, quality improvement, technology upgradation, expansion, new product development, IP facilitation, quality certification, lean manufacturing implementation, in order to make them under the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Program. For our activities and contribution, we have been appreciated. We have received the certificate of appreciation from Honorable Prime Minister and have bagged several awards for our quality of service and the kind of the activities we are doing at national level. We have also bagged the award as a national award from Siksha in the year 2017 and the ministry, being one of the best technology center to adopt the clean technology and to make the Siksha campaign. These are some of the, in glance, some of the very high-end facilities established at City Bhubaneswar. And we are the only center which has bagged the AFQMS and AS9100 Aerospace Quality Management System. As you know, since we are into aerospace activities, the quality management system requirement for the aerospace standard is quite stringent. So we have certified to aerospace AS9100, the latest version of revision D, and also we are approved by DGAQA, Directorate General of Quality Assurance, Ministry of Defense, because of our defense production activities. And coming back to the WIPO, TISC and IPFC, the World Intellectual Property Organization, it is a UN program. They're having more than 1,100 technology innovation support centers across the world, out of which there are 9 WIPO technology innovation support centers are in India. And one among these, I'm privileged to say that one of such WIPO technology innovation support center is at CTTC Bhubaneswar. And IPFC, Intellectual Property Facilitation Center, has been established over the last 5 years under the Ministry of MSME, DCMSME scheme, and it is operational and quite functional for providing various intellectual property facilitation services and technology development services to the different startups, MSMEs, research scholars, and other industries. Under this IPFC, we are doing various kind of activities like IP counseling, patent drafting, IP filing, prior art search, technology licensing, IP commercialization, conducting various IPR awareness programs, training, workshops, and IPR clinics to educate the MSME entrepreneurs and startups and support them in case any kind of innocent infringement of the IPs or any kind of legal dispute has been arising with them. Now, coming back to the point, we are talking the topic today, the innovation and intellectual property right in the prospect of the Industry 4.0. Why it is important today, as you know, the global, in this 21st century is the knowledge century, a century of innovation, enterprise and entrepreneurship. Innovation plays a key role. The new source of wealth is known as knowledge, not labor, not land, and not financial capital. It is the intangible intellectual asset that must be managed. The key challenge of the knowledge-based economy is to foster innovation. So innovation plays a very important role, a pivotal role for developing the socio-economic status. As you know, innovation plays an important role which directly reflects the quality of life of the people. When you talk about the quality of a life, means it is only that today's world, we are more affiliated, we are more familiarized with the kind of technologies we are using. If the technologies are so fast changing, unless we accelerate, unless we cope up with the pace of the world, pace of the changing scenario, then the things become obsolete, we go out of the stream. So the problem with India and many of the developing countries is they are not able to changing their mindset. When you talk about changing the mindset, whether it is industry, academy, universities, researchers, we are not purposefully looking at any kind of the output which will have some innovation, which will have some solution to a problem having applicability or the scope of commercial because of our mindset. that kind of the mindset or the academic or industry or the educational system for a quite long time. So that is why India could not able to emerge as more innovative country over the last several years. If you look at the story, there is a baby elephant. If it is from the very early stage, from its baby stage, if it tied up with a rope, where the strength of the rope is bigger than the strength of the elephant. If the baby elephant tries a couple of times to get out of the situation by breaking the rope, but because of its less strength than the rope, failed. Unfortunately, it tries to remain in the same condition, and it becomes mentally conditioned that it cannot break the rope when it began with large, when it has enormous strength, and when it can break this rope and can get rid of easily, because it is happening because of the conditioning, mental conditioning, conditioned to believe that it cannot break away. The belief the rope cannot still hold them, so they never try to break it. That is why I would like to say, because this kind of the mindset, the people, the students, academic, researchers, entrepreneurs, we don't come out the yes, we have the solution. We have a lot of innovative ideas. If you open the windows of our brain, if you really try to find the solution, if you try to peel the problem and find the solution, there will be a lot of innovative solution there, and a lot of intellectual property will be generated, and this lot of technology will be developed. So that kind of ecosystem was not there. But in recent days, if you look at the couple of years, government of India and respective government and across the world, all other countries, they are moving ahead, focusing on innovation, because innovation is the key solution, is the pivotal point for the development of any socio-economy. So to strive and thrive, what is needed? That you need to have the creative ideas. Be innovative, be creative. The true sign of intelligence is not the knowledge, but the imagination. It's told by the Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than the knowledge. So imagination and innovation influence quality of life. So quality of life, when you look at anything, we open our eye and look at anything, it comes in the front of our eye, any product, any service, anything, there is some innovation behind this. There is an entrepreneur behind this. There is a technology behind this. There is an IP, intellectual property behind this. When you talk of the quality of life, I would like to say a quote here. The quality of life can be defined as the speed is calculated miles per hour. The speed is calculated miles per hour. Similarly, the quality of life is calculated smiles per hour. Smiles. How many number of smiles we give in an hour, that speaks about our quality of life. And that quality of life is greatly influenced by the technology, by the innovation, and by the entrepreneurship. So, to understand the innovation, what is innovation? It is an idea of taking from idea to the market. Innovation comes out of a great human ingenuity and a personal passion. Unless there is a passion, unless there is a determination, unless you feel the pain of the problem, you cannot come with innovative ideas. It is the product of intellectual mind. It is the creation of our intellectual mind, which is gifted by God to all of us. If you look, the process that is from taking the idea to the market, innovation is the inspiration, perseveration, and perseverance. And if you look at the typical cycle of the taking this idea to the market, idea is nothing but your wish and imagination. And further, it goes to the next step, invention, feasibility, and creativity. Next, innovation is the viability of entrepreneurship. Viability means it's having the applicability and having an entrepreneurship scope and opportunity, commercialization scope and opportunity. It can be converted into business and it can create the wealth. Next, the business, that is desirability and leadership. Even the idea is there, opportunity there, technology is there, but we must have a desire to convert this idea into the wealth by means of the entrepreneurship, that is a business model. It needs leadership. It transforms visionary and transformational leadership. Yes, this idea has to be converted into the wealth has to be given a shape of the business. So the heart and soul of any organization is not only the industry or academy or the university are talking in today's context, it is the innovation. The creativity and innovation is the soul of any organization's development and sustainability. If you look at the typical process of innovation method, it passes through this like an insight to the problem, solution, and business model. Yes, the Steve Jobs had a quote, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. Means a leader is more innovative in nature, a leader is more creative in nature. Innovation does not mean only the technology. It is a finding a different way, innovative idea, finding a better way of doing the things more efficiently and effectively, finding a better solution to the problem which will be used for the community, for the benefit of the people. That is what the innovation. So it's a very powerful statement. She justifies innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So it depends upon us as an academic, either university or industry, as an entrepreneur professional, whether I want to be a leader and a follower. If I want to be a leader, if I would like to be a leader, then I have to focus on innovation. There is no doubt about it. Leader. Who is a leader? There is a quote saying in Hindi, लीडर वो है जो हवा के रुख से नहीं बदलते लेकिन खुद हवा के रुख को बदल देते हैं. लीडर वो है जो हवा के रुख से नहीं बदलते लेकिन खुद हवा के रुख से बदल देते हैं. Innovator is having that ability not to adopt or change himself as per the situation or to any problem. He has to work, think, dream against the problem and find a solution for this. That is what we are talking. Any successful entrepreneur, any successful professional should have the innovation as its leadership quality, as one of the personal quality. There is another thing, kagaj ki tukda patang. When you look at it, because in your educational institution and university and the startups and small, these young people are having a lot of ignited minds, a lot of innovative minds. As you know, the whole world is looking at India and many of the developing countries, what is we call the demographic dividend. Majority of the population, more than 60% population are the youth, they are the young. If this youth mind, youth talent is not being properly nurtured, not being converted into the national wealth, and what we are talking about the demographic dividend today, what we are talking about strength today becomes the greatest weakness, become the greatest threat for us, became the demographic disaster tomorrow. So looking at this point, the industry, academia, and public institutions and government ecosystem plays an important role for the skill building and creating more innovative, igniting the youth mind to design them to become to design them like in the shape of the kite so that they can fly high. When you take a kagaj ki tukri and patang, a piece of paper lying in the ground floor and the ground, whenever there is a air go and it flies up just without having any direction, without any purpose, it just goes like this. But this same piece of paper, if designed in the shape and given a shape of the kite, and it tries to work against the wind and goes up and up. So today, primarily we can consider the responsibility of the university, academia, industries, all such public institutions to design, to convert each piece of paper into a well-designed kite, which can go up and which can fly high. So, and can create the nation, can create the wealth for the nation. We have the responsibility as visionary and transformer leaders and create further. It's nothing but design thinking. When you say, right from the kagaj ki tukde say patang, from a piece of paper to design a kite, it's nothing but design thinking. You can see the innovation of the wheel. It is a design thing, right, starting from the next revolution. Design thinking is neither the art nor the science or the religion. It is the capacity ultimately for the integrative thinking. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation that draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the need of the people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirements for the business success. So innovation is an invention paired with a process and a market. It is an idea of creation of idea, creation of the human mind, creation of the mind, is paired with the process It goes certain process, and finally, at the end of the day, it is having a market through the means of the entrepreneurship. So technological opportunity, entrepreneurship ultimately creates a value, and the entrepreneur bridges the gap between the technological opportunity and the value of the demand or the requirement lying in the market. So when you look at the innovation value chain, the applied creativity will have three important basic elements. One is discovery, new idea, knowledge, and concept. Next is the invention, means technology and the business models. Innovation, useful implementations, commodities, goods, service, and experiences. These innovations, with respect to time and value, if you look at the x-axis and y, the time and value, it has substantial contribution in the different segments. Like innovation adds market value, right from the market analysis, qualitative research, surveys, concept testing, technical reports, beta tests, market launch, satisfied customers, and backlog. Similarly, adding value to the technology, right of the concept, feasibility, patent application, working prototype, manufacturing prototype, regulatory approvals, and market introduction. Similarly, this also adds value, the management value with respect to time and the value, that is the technologies, president, marketing, controller, manufacturing president, salesman. There it creates an organogram, a structured organogram with different identified responsibilities and authorities at respective level. Innovation can be defined in three important categories, like incremental innovation, means continuous change. This happens research and development, where the industry, where the academy and the industries plays a very important role. New product development, market research, it is a continuous activities. And the gradualist paradigm positions in the organization changes and develops through a continuous process of incremental adjustment. These adjustments or changes accumulate over time to ensure that the organization is always aligned with the external environment. So disruptive innovation, that could be second. Other is disruptive means disruptive change, innovator from outside. Because when you talk about this, out of nowhere, but often created by the grassroots, disruptive innovation is not a breakthrough innovation that makes a good products a lot better. It's not a breakthrough, it is not a substantial innovation. But the definition is that it transforms a product that historically was so expensive and complicated that only a few people, while it a lot of money and a lot of skills had access to it. A disruptive innovation makes it so much more affordable and accessible that a much larger population have access to it. So radical innovation is next level of is the third category of innovation, that means discontinuous changes. Innovators inside an organization, the research and development, product development, market research, it focuses on long periods of an equilibrium during which there is no or little change, punctuated by the short periods of radical discontinuous change. While a process of continuous gradual adjustment or incremental changes might be the ideal, evidence suggests that the most organizations experience change as a discontinuous process, often referred to as a pattern of punctuated equilibrium, or known as radical innovation. But if you look at the history, that's a case like disruptive innovation. Look at the different car manufacturers, the time and the product performance. We can take at the Hyundai, the Korean car are new cheaper. Next is has come to Kia, Toyota, Ford, and Mercedes-Benz. Here, there are certain pair like performance demanded at the low end of the market. There is a mainstream commodity and a performance demanded at the higher end of the market. So, if you look at I remember that Dr. Kano's model. Kano's model speaks about basic need, exciting need, and performance needs. So, depending upon this kind of the need, the customer perception, customer expectation, and this is being categorized, and this continuous change, this innovation plays a big role to match the customer's demand or customer's expectation. So there is open innovation, lead user concept. Here, there it has got three phases, like users develop new products for themselves. Phase 2, other users evaluate and reject or copy and improve. phase 3, producers enter when a market potential is clear. Yeah, coming back to understand what is the strength, what is the status of why the global innovation index. When you look at the global, this World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO is having more than 131 countries are a member of this WIPO. World Intellectual Property Organization, as I mentioned, the Technology Innovation Support Center, through this, they promote technology development and IP facilities services across the world through different TISC network. And what do? They make the index mapping based upon certain parameter about the kind of technology development, patent filed, kind of technology commercialization, and the entire ecosystem of the country they study, and there is a scoring mechanism. In this scoring mechanism, India, in the year 2015, was 81 rank. 2016, 66. Similarly, it has incrementally growth. In the 2021, it has come 46th rank. So that means this shows this innovation. India is in the path of the innovation. Innovation has been included as a strategic policy in its industry academia component. As you know, I am sure many of the universities, UGC has made a circular in the 2018 that university has introduced subject intellectual property rights for BTech, MTech, and postgraduate and PhD scholars with 4 credits subject. This subject is already being taught in many of the universities. And like in Odisha, Vijupatana Technical University also introduced one IPR subject as in its Bachelor in Engineering. So India has taken a lot of initiative through this to organize this industry and academia setup so that it can emerge as a technological advanced country in the future, where the universities, industries, and public institutions plays a very big role. If you look at the Global Innovation Index of the latest 2021, the top rank is Switzerland, second rank is Sweden, US, UK, South Korea, Netherlands, Finland, Singapore, respectively. So any developed country to whom you are talking, they are continuously fostering innovation, focusing on innovation through different means, and they are developing a strong innovation ecosystem in the country. Coming back to the state of Odisha, as for the innovation, national innovation is concerned, it is still measurable. Among 30 states, India is standing somewhere, Odisha is standing somewhere 14 and 12. It was 2019 is 12, 2020 is 14. It's not very satisfactory. That is why the industry, the institutions and universities in Odisha need to play a very key role, pivotal role in order to take this rank up and its national level index. I remember 2018, from Odisha, total 164 applications were only filed for the patent. Such a huge state, only 164 applications is miserable. That's why industries and institutions has to be oriented towards more innovation and more intellectual property filing. Now we talk about the industry, how this will link this innovation to the industry 4.0. We are talking that this is the 4th industrial revolution. We are emerging through a very substantial change, a breakthrough change of the technological environment. And to that context, we are talking about artificial learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. These are the kind of the technologies we are emerging. And our startup units, the small scale industries, to what extent they are ready to adapt. Even if ground level you see, even many of them are not industry 4.2 level. So to come in the amount of a gap between existing status of the SMEs, existing status of the other industries and academies, and also the requirement of the industry 4.0 is that there is a wide gap. So this gap has to be understood and it has to be bridged at the earliest possible of time so that we can be globally competitive. India can move ahead and developing countries can have their place in the global market. This industry 1.0, when you look at quickly, understand, first industrial evolution was introducing mechanical production machines and powered by the water and the steam. Second industrial evolution was introducing mass production lines powered by the electric energy. Third industrial evolution was the use of electronics and IT for the progression in the autonomous production. and fourth industrial revolution based on the cyber physical system, what we are talking today. Challenges and industries are growing worldwide, you have to increase the competitiveness of the industries by means of increasing efficiency, shorten time to market, quick stage time to enter the market with concurrent engineering and adopting various other techniques and enhance the flexibility. So we are talking today, we are all in a smart environment, where the smartphone, smart home, smart cars, smart factories, and there is a market pull and there is a technology push. In this smart environment, unless you understand the need of the technologies, unless we have the intellect creation of our mind, unless you understand the important relevance of the IP, intellectual property, and we protect it, then we will left behind. So Industry 4.0 is a smart factory designed to a sustainable and service-oriented business. Why it is needed? Why we have to be get up? Because everything around us is smart. Smart mobility, smart logistics, smart building, smart product, smart everything. So if that is the thing, then we have to act very smart, whether we are an academic institution, university, industry, startup, or a public institution. We have to act smart and adapt into this and understand it at the earliest. So this is the digitization. We're talking about the digital era of the digitization, data, exponential growth, and humans. So these things, these factors are going to play a very important role. It is going to have a substantial impact on our academic, on university system, and a pedagogy system, and also industries. Unless we tune up, smart machines change the relation of the humans to the world. They are helpful and welcome, no doubt. But technology has no ethics. It never questions the meaning of any action. With increasing exponential power of smart machines, the identity of the humans is at stake. So personality is shaped by the overcoming obstacles and in the confrontation with challenges and the resistances. A world with a prefabricated roots where one is relieved from one decision because algorithms are pretending to know the preferences and desires is a countermodel to this subjection. So we must keep the ability to take a step back from our own wishes to question, to negotiate, to develop, and to self-correct them. This and other essential human values cannot be digitized. So very important. When one way we're looking at the digitization of the technology, other way also we have to cope with as being human being, as an promoter or as a tutor, as a mentor, or ourselves. So when you look at the future, the startup or the organizations, innovate or die. There is no point. If you don't innovate, if you don't focus on the innovation, will be dying. That is the fifth industrial revolution. Will be giving a clear-cut message. Either you survive or die. If you want to survive, you have to innovate. That industry does not mean it is only the manufacturing industry, or the manufacturing, service, or any academia or university, all of us. Innovation comes in the way of life. 52% Fortune 500 companies disappeared last 15 years because of the lack of innovation. Average life expectancy of companies is 15 years. Today's new product or service becomes obsolete tomorrow. So future organizations are more adventurous, entrepreneurial in thinking of the culture, nimble in executing new strategies, fast-moving, risk-taking, rapid-fire innovation. Future organization is the bunch of startups and a bunch of existing business. There are the different principles of the future organizations. When you look at this globally distributed with the smaller teams, connected workforce, and operations like small company, focuses on one instead of need, in one, not instead of need, adapt to the change faster, innovation anywhere, rules in the cloud, more women in senior management roles, flatter structure, tell stories, democratizing learning, shift from the profit to prosperity, adapts to future employee and the manager. When you're talking about the kind of fourth industrial revolution, automation, robotics, you can see the robots make life easy in the smart kitchen. Even the kitchen is becoming smart. Robot is going to work in the smart. So Internet of Things and the services in Industry 4.0, as you know, IoT plays a very big role in Industry 4.0, whether it is healthcare, smart meter, smart home, smart building, smart factory, smart device, smart grid, smart mobility, smartphone, whatever. Without internet, life is nothing. So digitization technology is like data, computational power, and connectivity with respect to the 4.0. Analytics and intelligence, digital to physical conversion, human machine interaction. The industry 4.0 is talking about what you say, that is the last previous slide we discussed, that is a talking, machine to machine talking. But as you know, ethical decision. Then machine will work that take a decision based upon the command, based on the data, based upon the inputs. But that has to be provided by the human intellectual brain, human mind. So human machine interaction is going to play an important role. So advanced human machine interface, virtual and augmented reality, wearable advanced robotics, human robot collaboration is the talk of the hour. There is a global information, industry 4.0 case studies and results. The organization, those who have adopted industry 4.0 already, and they have already accepted the change and the next evolution, then they have been hugely benefited, like most up to 50% savings in maintenance cost, 40% improvement in the quality score. And GE as renewable energy having 34% improvement in productivity during wind turbine assembly. Siemens optimized production lines, China with 300% increase in output. Liotino, Xerox, Whirlpool, Boeing, Johnson Johnson, 100% reduction in operating costs. 100% reduction in operating cost, 5% drop in machine downtime. You can see that the substantial growth, substantial gain. So industry 4.0 is going to immensely benefit to the futures and organizations. So that is why it is a high time to understand the need of the industry 4.0. And when we're moving at the speed, in the pace of the industry 4.0, we have to be more innovative. When we are becoming more innovative, we have to understand my innovation also need to be protected. Where to protect, how to protect, whether it has got some potential to protect, we need to be aware of this. All the students, faculties, entrepreneurs need to be aware. So this fourth industrial revolution impacts on supply chain, globalization, decreasing cost, higher efficiency of the operations, quality improvements, increased service level, etc. So these are the current research and focused areas for the sustainability, like sustainable materials. These are the emerging field of the research. In universities and the international and national research establishment are focusing on these points today. Sustainable material, sustainable product development, considering the 6R, best product design and sustainability. Sustainable manufacturing process, sustainable manufacturing system, society, public, policy and regulatory issues in sustainable manufacturing, sustainable service and healthcare system, economic analysis of sustainable products and processes, means marketing strategy and business economics for sustainable products and processes. Now, so intellectual property plays an important role here. What is this? Is a creation of a mind, such as inventions, designs for the industrial articles, literary artistic works, symbols, names, and images, etc., are protected by the intellectual property rights. These are usually known as two types of right, one industrial property right and other is copyright. So nature of intellectual property is the creation of human mind. What is IP? It's nothing but creation of human mind. Intellectual property means Bauddhic Shakti, the power of the mind, intelligence of the mind. It is an intangible property, exclusive rights given by the statute bodies, attended with the limitations and expectations. It is a time bound. Every intellectual property is being granted for a particular time period. It is a territorial, it is an origin, it is a nationwide. Somebody is having a rights in India, cannot claim all over the world. It is a territorial rights given. So if he has to file, he has to want to claim his, he wants to protect his rights, then he has to file in all of the respective countries. So intellectual property right, it is an asset. It is an unforeseen, it is an hidden asset with all of us. It has a lot of value. Intellectual property is a business asset, like a real estate, must be defined, value assigned, and used. IPR is developed, maintained, upgraded, protected, used to realize the value. When this is that powerful, it is having the wealth, it is having a lot of value, we need to understand how to protect it. IP asset, you can say the scenario one. If this is an innovative, individual innovator, it is a research scholar, it is a startup, it is a small scale entrepreneur. If it does not know how to protect his IP, how to take legally protects of his creation, innovative ideas, then what will happen? the corporates, the big organizations, the smart organizations, those who are rich in money, they have separate IP divisions. They have separate IP experts. What they will do, they will be smart. They will try to eat up all the things. So all these small innovators, startups, researchers will go into the mouth of these big innovators and the corporates. So in scenario two, if you look at this, if even the individual, a startup, researcher, when he is taking a protection of his intellectual property rights, then he is able to counter and fight against the big company corporate because it's legally protected. So we need to understand how to protect legally and what is the potentiality, what is the power of intellectual property created by any individual. And this power, it is intellectual property is not only the asset, it's also a big brand. IP as a brand value. It distinguishes your intellectual property, your brand, your patent, your technology, your utility, your aesthetic design part. It distinguishes you from the others. That is why when it creates a confidence in mind of the customers, it creates a value for the customers. So importance of the IP, to recall it, as I mentioned, the brain, it's very interesting statements. We can just look at it this. So there is a statement by John Stuart, chairman of the Quaker. He mentioned, if this business were split up, I would give you the land and the bricks and the mortar, and I would take the branch and the trademarks, and I would fare better than you. Means very powerful statement. You can see the power of the intellectual property, power of the brand. Even he doesn't mind to give his business, entire thing, right from the every dust and the motor of the organization. But he wants to go with the brand and the trademark and the technology and the patent so that and he's confident and tomorrow he can build a much better factory or bigger business unit than what he has left. Similarly, the president of Coca-Cola company also came with another interesting statement. It's very motivating, inspiring. If each building, factory, office, car, truck, one would burn down in a moment, the company could get back to operational, rebuilding and buying everything lost in 1 year due to the value and the profit generated by its intellectual property. Namely, the income generated by its trademark, means brand, franchise contracts, patent and licenses. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can see. So, intellectual right property right is the biggest asset. It is more powerful asset than the asset which is reflecting in our balance sheet, than the physical asset what we are having. You can see. So looking at this, so importance of the IP, it is why if you are taking the IP protection, what is this? We take a monopoly rights. It is granted by the government for disclosure of innovation to owner or his assignee for limited period of the time. A negative right is a territorial right, a statutory right. The purpose is to encourage innovation and industrial growth. Now look at what types of intellectual property rights are there. There is one is ideas to creativity and innovation. That's the trade secret. Trade secret. If you look at the Coca-Cola, the taste of the Coca-Cola is due to the trade secret. The kind of the chemical formula and the processing, it is quite unique. It is being protected. You can never get the similar taste of any other soft drinks. So that is the trade secret of your process, your composition. Those things are there. Other IPs are like patent, trademarks, copyright, design, industrial design, IC layout, geographical indications, plant variety, etc. How IPR helps in economic development? Intellectual property rights could play a significant role in encouraging innovation, product development, and technical change to help in development of the economy through low-cost imitation of the foreign products and the technologies. The type of power, as I was mentioning, there's industrial property rights, there's a copyright related rights. Industrial property is industrial design, patent, trademark or service mark, trade secret, geographical indications, layout designs of the semiconductor site, plant varieties and the farmers' rights. And other is a copyright artistic works, literary works that we can little discuss later. Reasons why IP is ignored. In most of the developing countries, underestimation of its importance. We never understand the value of intellectual property right, value of our creation of the mind. The time required for the grant of the patent registration, it takes quite long time. In India and many of the developing countries, if you file a patent, earlier it was taking more than 3 to 4 years. But now Government of India has taken a lot of initiatives and also reduced the fees very substantially for academic institutions and small scale industries and the startups. Very nominal pay. You can file your patent by paying only 1,1600 Indian rupees. Earlier, it was around 8,000 rupees for the educational institution. For individuals, it was around 4,000 rupees. So now you can see that is a drastically, even only the academic institutions or the individuals can file the patent by paying only 1,600 rupees towards government fee. So, and time required, if you spend around 8,000 rupees, you will get your patent and first examination, first publication will be happening, and so that it can be granted even within a year, within 18 to 20 months of the time. Cost of patenting was earlier, it was very high. The attorney cost was very high. When we are thinking of any IP protection, we think of an attorney is very expensive. Government of India has built a strong ecosystem. Startup Odisha and Startup India, they have empaneled, Startup India has empaneled lot many attorneys who will provide the facilities and services. They will charge the free of cost to the startups. Government of India, like a Ministry of MSME, has opened up, established, or set up the intellectual property facilitation centers, more than 70 across the country. Similarly, Department of Science and Technology, DST, has established IP facility center in many of these places, more than I think around nearly 30 IP facilitation centers. And DPIIT and other organizations, they are also supporting and promoting this kind of activity. And many of the universities and academic institutions, they have also IP facility centers. AICT and UGC also has insisted, made it a requirement of setting up the innovation IP facilitation or IP awareness among the students and the faculties. And since IP has been introduced as a subject, so every faculty member, every learned person need to have some basic knowledge and understanding of the intellectual property rights. So IP ecosystem is getting strengthening in a country like India. So enforcement of the IPR, in case there is a legal problem, then enforcement was also very expensive. Many of the people are not aware. Somebody is infringing my IP. Somebody is copying my IP. I do not know how to sue him in the court and how to take the action, legal action against him, and what is the money to be paid for this. In that way, people are not interested. It is a myth that it cannot be computed or valued. As you know, the intellectual mind, intellectual property is not having any measurable value, but I could see it is more powerful than the physical assets. Lack of awareness, all the things are happening due to the lack of awareness. Many people, they do not know the power and the value of IP. They do not know how to protect their IP. They do not know how much money they have to pay. They do not know from what kind of services and facility services they will get. So because of due to these points, these things, IP was neglected for a quite long time. Considering now coming back to the IP, there is a industrial design. What is that? This is the ornamental or aesthetic aspect of any article. Any article, how does it look? What is its aesthetic? What is the appearance? What is shape? What is color? This is the ornamental. This can be under the industrial design. 3D features of the shape or the surface as of a perfume bottle, or 2D patterns of a line, shapes and colors as on the bed sheets. You can see that could be 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional. This can come on the industrial design. These are the few of the examples. The articles what you use are getting registered under the industrial design. In case you have such innovation idea, you have protected this design, and if anybody is copying to this, then you can shoot a legal case against him, and he will be liable to pay you the royalty and the compensation for the infringement. So, and for filing of the design, the fee, government fee is only 1,000 rupees, only 1,000 rupees. But due to lack of awareness, we do not know how to do it. I'll show you some interesting example at a stage. Next, another is trademark. Trademark is another intellectual. What is trademark? Is a brand. It is either name, or it is a wordmark, or a symbolic, a graphical interpretation, or a logo. You can see some of the trademark are well familiar. By seeing this symbol, you can know what is it. Yes, a trade name is the name of an enterprise which individualizes the enterprise in a consumer's mind. Trademark gives a strong brand image, brand impression in the mind of the consumer. So that creates a value and a wealth for the business. A trade name is the name of an enterprise which individualizes the enterprise and the consumer's mind, legally not linked to the quality. It does not speak in the quality, legally not connected to the quality, but it gives a content about its quality, its aesthetic, its durability, its safety, all these features through the ways and the means of the brand. This creates a strong impression in the mind of the consumer. In fact, the link in the consumer's mind to the quality expectation. These are the kind of trademarks, marks on the good, services, certification marks, collective marks, well-known marks. Time is short, so I have to run out. So as you can see, there is a product. You can see when you are switching on your mobile phone, you are finding empowered with Android. What is that? Android is just another trademark. And your Samsung mobile is also a brand, different two brands. There is a co-branding. So co-branding, multiple brand. When you switch on our computer, you find Intel inside. What is that? This computer maybe of the Lenovo or SP or any good manufacturing, but the software inside or the chips inside Intel, it's a different brand. So two or more than two brands or multiple brand also brings a strong impression, attract the customer for it. So there is also like olfactory smells like strawberry, cherry, and grape, lubricants for engines, etc. This can be also under the trademarks. There is another thing is copyright. We were discussing what is this? Copyright is a property right that protects the original work of authorship, including literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic work. Term of copyright is the author's life plus 60 years. The music, literary work, all this comes under the artistic work, literature work, all this comes under copyright. Then patent. Patent, when we should talk about the patent, means there is some utility, there is some novelty in it, there's some patent, there must be some technology, there must be some utility, applicability of the idea, of the innovative idea. Then it should be novel, invention not known to the public prior to the filing. We have to be very careful to understand anything you are innovating, please don't disclose to the public. Many times it has been seen, the people lose their credentials for the patent filing because they have exposed to the public. They have displayed in the social site. They have made some article publication. They have displayed somewhere in exhibition. By doing that, you lose your credibility for patenting the products. Involves in inventing the steps. Be capable of industrial application. Any innovative idea must have industrial application, must have a commercial viability. Without commercial viability, no idea is acceptable for the IP protection. So what can be patented? Innovative like technology, process, there can be a technology patent, there could be a process patent, there could be a product patent, mechanism or the system, utility, and the business model. This can be patented. Rights conferred by the patent prevent others from making, using, offering, or the selling, importing, infringing products in the country where the patent was granted. See, these rights are conclude licensing contracts for up to 20 years from the date of the filing of the patent application. The patent does not grant the right to use the invention. You can say, very simple example. You can see here there's a piece of steelware. What is its utility? This might have some utility. So this remains as a plain steelware. The same ware, when it is bent and giving the shape of the, by applying innovative idea, this has just given a shape of the gem sleeve. Means it is used for tying up the bunch of the paper so the paper does not get scattered. So this becomes an innovative product. And this can be patented here. Means there is some applicability. There is some commercial viability, right? Similarly, when this particular product is coated with a different color, the plastic coated, and the steelware is inside, this is coming also industrial design. This comes an aesthetic part. Yes, this is a design. It is how does it look like? The shape and the color and the aesthetic part, the appearance part, ornamental part is under the industrial design. Similarly, same pin also used with another innovative idea when you make one portion straight and push into the cell phone to eject the SIM card. So you can see one steelware having different innovative ideas at different stages, having different utility and applicability. Those utility, applicability, functionality will be coming on the patents. That is what the innovation. Innovation doesn't mean very big things. Innovation is nothing yet just an idea of converting this idea into a product and taking it to the market and creating the wealth. Similarly, you can see there are kind of the needles examples. There are needles in the same, it is also needle, but it is used for the stitching by hand. It's used for the stitching by machine. This is used for the surgery. Needle is the different shape used for the piecing purpose. Similarly, scissors, you can see scissors are the different designs having the different applicability. So these are the innovation and IP remains in its own space. Similarly, the IP remains in multiple IP. In one particular item, there could be multiple IPs. If you take an example of a mobile phone, some IP found in a particular mobile phone, say Nokia. Trademark is made by Nokia. Product N95 is brand name, also a trademark. Software, Symbian, Java is also trademark. Like they were talking Intel inside, Android inside. Similarly, the patent, data processing method is a process patent. Semiconductor circuits is a patent. Chemical compounds is a patent. Copyright, software code, instructional manual, ringtone, that comes under the copyright. Designs, some of them registered from all our other phones, like this say, size, aesthetic part, and the color. This becomes under industrial design. Three-dimensional, where from the buttons, different this kind of the buttons, design of the button, this comes under industrial design. Trade secret, we do not know whether anything particular trade secret has not been found out. So very interesting. I was mentioning about the industrial design, how to take commercialization. You can think this is an item known as magnetic particle separator designed for the commercialization. There is an institution known as Institute of Life Science in Bhubaneswar and Imgenex India, Biotech Private Limited here in Bhubaneswar. They are manufacturing antibody and exporting to US. 100% export oriented. They are using this device for separation of the magnetic particles from the iron particles from the blood. While they are collecting the blood sample, what they do, they put inside the tube, and there is a very powerful magnet remain inside. They put this tubes here so that what is then iron particles, means iron, the magnetic particles getting attracted toward this magnet because of the magnetic force and get separated, then take it out and pour it for the testing. So this is a device they used to get it earlier from the Germany, right? And they were paying almost around 2,000 rupees per each piece. So, but that was a different design. While we were discussing what we did, this was my design. I did a design like this and got it protected because I know our IP facility through ISL, I filed it and got it. They wanted to use it. They paid rupees 60,000 for taking this design. You can say just an innovative idea. It's not a very big thing. Any of you can think, but I income 60,000 for this. Similarly, there were some of the students, KIT TVI students, they were also working with us. They're taking some of the help and assistance from us. So when I put this idea, look, this is an idea, an item has to be also, this is needed to be provided in the toolkit by the Institute of Life Science. Can you come? These guys were working on 3D printing. They came with a different type of design and also made the 3D printing made by them. This 3D printing made by them with our 3D printing machine, and they gave us the component. Then we took this matter to the Institute of Life Science through our IP facility sensor and disk network and Imgenex India. They paid 1,36,000 rupees toward the design, maybe very small value. But look, a very small idea is paying how much to our idea, the value for your idea. That what I say means every idea you are not able to see. If you can really convert your idea into a product and if you try to use it, you license it somebody, you sit and take the liability, take the royalty for this, or you become a partner for this, taking commercial of the products. So there is huge scope. So this IP as an asset need to be managed. It is a systematic management of the different IP assets that protects one or more product lines and business aspect. So this is like an asset. This has to be managed. So that is why asset manager, like many of the corporates, many of the organizations, they are taking people for that asset manager, means IP manager. They will value the IP, they will maintain the IP, they will see how they to assess the IP, they will audit the IP. So a lot of the things are the activities. That is another thing, intellectual property due diligence. What is it? Due diligence means investigation. To find out what is the strength of the power, what is the commercial value, the potentiality of the innovative idea, what I'm having. So that is what the IP due diligence. It is essential in audit to assess the quantity and the quality of the intellectual property, both qualitative aspect and the value prospect. Asset to the one by or the license to a company. So it has 3 stages. It is in 3 different types of components, focused analysis, like prioritization of the objective. substantive investigation and analysis of the results. Here, what we do in IP due diligence by using some global paid database software. IP due diligence is an information gathering and analytical process concerning to the potential licensor license. Who is the licensor, who is the licensee? Those kind of information we try to capture about a particular idea. What is the market? The technology and other similar technology available in the market being developed. The legal and business environment, what kind of legal disputes are there, where complications are there, or anybody has filed anywhere, you get the information worldwide in global database, almost the updated global database. Now, what is the business environment? Where this particular idea is having more commercial value, where I can get more value for this idea, where I get the good business opportunity for this particular idea. Those kind of information you get in IP due diligence, or we call it market competitive intelligence analysis or freedom to operate, FTO analysis. The purpose of the due diligence is to identify and assess the potential risk and the benefit. Basically, we are doing whether any kind of risk is involved. If I am going with this patent, going with the brand, IP brand, whether any kind of risk are associated with this, or what are the benefits I want to get to develop strategy for overcoming such kind of risk. If you can lead, it's a very small example. If you look at this kind of sample, particular business idea, you can find the different information. This is only one slide I'm giving. Here, which are the country, which are the top assignees for this particular idea? And which country, this particular idea is even having what kind of the value, in which country, in the global perspective, you get all the information, whether what kind of commercial viability, commercial potentiality, business opportunity there, you can get in the global perspective. So, these kind of things like patent survivorship rate by the year, when this patent was survived, what kind of work, who are the researchers who have worked, what are the papers have been published, who are the organizations who are working, when they are working, you get all this information from this IP due diligence investigation. This IP due diligence investigation helps to the startups, research scholars, innovators to find the potentiality of their idea. You can see small example here. There is a startup here. He came to us, Priyam Mohanty, with an idea, with some business ideas, nearly 15 business ideas. We did all these IP facilitator services and IP due diligence investigation report provided him. He has, when he presented before the angel investors from the foreign countries, from Singapore and USA, he has signed the MOU of 72 crores rupees. It is emerging at Tejar Aerospace, emerging as a starting a startup entrepreneur in the state of Odisha. So this is the power of the benefit. This has come in the press. Tejar Aerospace in India, based on aerospace and defense startup, releases $15 billion. So this is power. Due diligence. This is an example related to our Institute of Dental Science. Dr. Laura Misra from the Som Hospital Dental Department, she came with an idea for the device design and development. We facilitated her for the patent filing. We facilitated for this market competitive intelligence analysis and F2 analysis. She applied to BIRAC and has got in the year 2018 50 lakhs under BIRAC or DBT Government of India. Means when you protect, it's not only coming with an idea, when you support such kind of investigation report, justification, it gives a confidence to the approving or granting authority of the investors to accept your idea. Similarly, we have designed one wheelchair for physical challenge people. This design was protected, and this gentleman, he is Subroto Kumar Haldar. He has bagged the award for his design from Honorable Vice President of India. You can see how this IP takes. This is another Dr. Nita Mahanti. I think she is the head for the Institute of Dental Science at Som Hospital. She has come with a device. This also we have helped to design and develop. We have developed that so that for cancer treating patient to take the samples, it will just push and it will cut the minimum quantity of the place, whatever it is required, and it will take without taking any pain. So this device we have also developed from this. So this is design patent. So that is why the phases of the dependent. Now we look at why IP is happening. Many times we all get victimized of the infringement due to lack of awareness. Like you can see 11 up, that is 7 up. The similar kind of the design, similar kind of color, right? So that being a customer or the consumer who get confused in the market when you are going at this. Now coming back to this kind of IP infringement and coming out of this kind of a conflicts, and innovation management need to be a strategy. I think I may be allowed for another 10, 15 minutes. Will be okay, sir? Hello, Mr. Nishant. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Another
Yes,
15
sir.
minutes.
Yes, sir. Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Surely.
Innovation management. Innovation management. Yes, it's a strategic point. It's a strategic issue for the industry, academic, and institution. Can see what is innovation management? It is enterprise management like product innovation and innovation management. Innovation management concept of what to manage, why to manage, how to manage, who is to do what, when to do, what to do. So these are the things we have to look at visionary prospect. Stimulating the work, determination, courage, thoughtfulness, visionary, communication. These are the different kind of tools and techniques for the innovation management. Innovation management is about managing the different forms of the capital to create novel enterprise value. Intellectual capital and the value chain management are two important emerging aspects. Innovation management is not only innovating things, also managing the innovation, commercializing the innovation, licensing the innovation. These are also important aspects for any progressive institution or industries. So innovation management can be intellectual capital management and value chain management. Here the capital is physical capital, financial capital, human capital, structural, political, cultural, and intellectual. Innovation management goes through different steps, step 1 to step 4. Innovate, appropriate, articulate, and iterate. Innovate, set intervals, map, industry position, define. Appropriate, audit, appropriate, assess, and manage. Articulate, transfer, migrate, govern, and intercept. Then iterate, re-evaluate after every 5 years, 10 years, 15 at the defined frequency of the time, defined period of the time, re-evaluate your innovative ideas. These are the usual innovation management steps, can be discussed later in detail in some other time. So this is when you talk about the appropriate human know-how, the experience, skill, creativity, and corporate memory. Intellectual capital as documents, lists, ideas, drawings, programs, data, innovations, process, and relationship. Appropriate and proprietary of the open. If you look at this kind of article, the innovation management strategy, you can see there is a Samsung, there is Symbiont, Xiaomi. If you look at this, there is a brand. What is this brand? It is a name, logo, or a slogan. This is known as trademark, as IP. Expression, trade dress, design, user interface, text code. This is a trademark. Industrial design, copyright. These 3 IPs are there in expression of an innovative idea. Function, like process, device, and material, patent, and trade secret in its function. These are the different IPs created at the different stages of the product or the technology, and we need to understand as far while planning for the innovation management. While articulating our innovation management, we have to know the source of product, develop, derive, and extend. Target product, next generation, derivative are related. Meta product, that is shoot, platform, network, infrastructure. So IP management strategy in universities. Now it is very important. Now we are coming back. Why we are discussing today? Why this it is important to why be one of the pioneer university in the country and in the state, one of the leading university in the state. So what strategy we need to know? You must be educated. You must be aware. Objective is IPR awareness, outreach, and promotion. As you know, when we are discussing about the potentiality and the requirement of the IP, importance of the IP, relevance of the IP, technology aspect of the IP, and its relation with the emerging technologies, there must be awareness, outreach, and promotion. It should be every student, every faculty member should be aware about this, and they should make aware others. Create suitable course materials for it. Educational institutions at all levels to emphasize the importance of the IP rights. Online and distance learning programs for all categories of users, including IPR in the school curriculum at appropriate level. Also, this has to be encouraged. This is what the need. This was the strategies. Generation of IPRs, introduce IPRs as a part of the academic curriculum in educational institutions, especially universities, law, and technical institutions. If you look at it, in the law syllabus also, many of the organizations, they do not have the IPR as subject, whereas now we are planning the IPR introduction in the school. So now the government of India and all the UGC are taking a lot of steps. They are putting all the things, all these IPR as subject, putting the different academic curriculums. Human capital development, most important thing, we are talking about human capital. What is it? Strengthen existing and create new IPR cells and technology development and management units in national institutions, universities, technology and management institutions, and centers of the skill development. Means every people in such organizations play a pivotal role to create human capital, to develop the human capital, to generate, to ignite the mind of the people, those who are connected, or the students, or the faculties associated with those establishments, so that they come with creation of the mind, come with new intellectual properties, which will be an asset to them and also asset to the organization. Now, an institutional innovation perspective, what should be our strategy? Let's understand what is the rationale behind it. Public research institutes play a key role in the innovation ecosystem. National strategy to support the commercialization of the knowledge produced by the public institutions. Research bodies themselves have also introduced practices to support the knowledge transfer activities, to help to take their innovation and scientific breakthroughs to market and ultimately boost economic growth. Activities to create an institutional culture that support knowledge transfer. So make it not, this knowledge should be transferred, that should be a culture. And this kind of initiative taken by Civil Engineering Department in association with the global other universities of the USA, and this is what the knowledge transfer mechanism, we are trying to educate it, we are trying to open up the things. So more and more people should be aware of these things. Such activities has to be promoted. The establishment of the institutional strategy for the knowledge transfer and the commercialization, such as rules for the transparency in contract negotiations, initiative with the staff of the disclose inventions and support knowledge transfer by working with potential licenses. Suppose any university, any institution creating some knowledge, creating some intellectual property, then how it will be licensed, how it will be commercialized, how to create it wealth, how to take this idea into the market and generate the wealth, whether itself through some means entrepreneur or license to some other industries. Those who are interested, technology licensing or technology commercialization means that should be the strategy, that should be one of the activities of the organization. So India, the institutional policies have recently been developed, a key national academic and research institutes, complementing legislative efforts that aim to implement university IP-based knowledge transfer. Now, the universities are playing very important role. The universities, if you want to emerge as a globally advanced university, they will globally recognized university, they have to have the university IP-based knowledge transfer. They have to work this kind of ecosystem in the university. The means to implement such legislation as well as to available complementary policies to enhance the impact of the public, research and development, and to promote academic entrepreneurship very widely. The benefits are to get, though knowledge transfer public research organization can maximize the impact of their research, delivering tangible real world benefits. For individual business, it can enable them to improve the performance, increase the productivity, and gain access to the new resources and world-leading expertise. Nationally, knowledge transfer drives economic growth and delivers social benefits. Internationally, there have been achievements in building partnership and relationship between business, research organizations, and government bodies to deliver the real value. IP ownership clarification thus greater security to the downstream. Funders want to see the outcome and impact of their just output from the research. Not only the research, as in academic institution, university, what you should do. We are only interested for the publication of the papers in the journal to get their degree awarded or for our promotion. Now today, another company is coming. What should be the outcome-based research? What is the deliverable? What is the outcome? If you deny that there is no, this research is not having commercial viability, that is not having industrial, is not having applicability, then research is of no use. Those kind of emphasis is going to be put. So ability to increase collaborative research funding opportunity as an institutional platform, that is the collaborative research can be done, collaboration in funding can be arranged, and to enable the system and the creation of an innovative entrepreneurial culture. So as you are finding the job opportunities becoming an issue today, so university and academic institution, they should get creation an innovative culture to create entrepreneurship, taking this idea and to the market by creating more entrepreneurs, creating an institution of entrepreneurship creation, not only creating only the infrastructure. So that should be the strategies. Most researchers want their research to make a different and having a vibrant, encouraging entrepreneurial culture and help attract the retained staff. So IP management strategy is a common measure. Invention disclosure, patent application, grant and patent, license concluded, startup fund, industry engagement. These kind of things will be there. The technology transfer office. This should be a strategy of the IP management. The institution should come with an IP policy. IP management activities to be pursued, how the structure will be measured, where will it be reside, who will report it, and how will it be resourced. This should be an IP management strategy. That should be a policy. The student research inventors, government departments, industry, research groups, sponsored collaboration, postdoctoral fellows, and visiting scholars. All the stakeholders. IP management strategy, what should an institutional IP policy address? We can make a policy for the university, provide an environment that promotes knowledge dissemination, protect rights of the IP creators, ensure that there is equitable benefit sharing with the IP creators. They should have some equity. They must have gained benefit. This comes from the IP strategic IP policy of the organization. IP management strategy is example type of IP as a mentioned copyright and related rights, traditional knowledge, traditional culture, patent, geographical indication, patent bidders' right, designs, and trademark. As indicated previously, it is an important to decide what type of IP will be included and excluded in institutional IP policy. The institution or university has to decide what kind of IP will be included in its IP policy depending upon the area of operation or area of reach. It may be desirable to include all types of IP produced by an institution. However, such decision will depend on the institutional context. It depends on the institution. In the context of the institution, this will be decided. What should an institutional IP policy? It should provide an environment that promotes the knowledge dissemination, protect rights to the IP creators and ensure that there is an equitable benefit sharing with the IP creators, ensure that products are made available to the public through an effective technology transfer program. IP management is a legal framework. It is like IP organizational institutional context. Next is a national law, international IP framework. IP has an international, national, and institutional organizational context framework. So it will follow that framework. Coming towards the last slide, IP management strategy can decide at the procedural aspect, like address IP ownership, guidelines for the IP reporting, university obligations, socio-economic benefits, licensing, assignment, joint venture, startup, or the spin-off, guiding principles. Revenue distribution, how this revenue will be shared with the IP creators, the stakeholders, the innovators, general principle for sharing. Then administration of the IP policy, who will implement the policy and how will it be implemented? Conflict resolution, ensure mechanism for conflict resolution, non-commercial use, outline uses and retention of the rights. University should retain the rights, license to inventors, address conflict of interest issues, time up for inventors to the pursue startup companies, consultancy opportunity, allow time to consult with third parties, address IP ownership related to the consultancy services, costing, who is responsible for the IP costing of the research, who is responsible for IP management costs, prosecution and maintenance, who is responsible for litigation costs. So these should be different component IP management strategy of any university. Coming back to the last slide of my presentation, yes, this message what we get, looking at IP strategies should be an integral part of the overall business strategy of an enterprise or academic institution. IP strategies cannot remain in a loop. It is an integral part of an industry. There is innovation, there is IP. Innovation in the way, without innovation, no institution, no organization can progress in today's competitive world. So it has to be an integral part of the overall strategy. Otherwise, survivability and sustainability of the organization will be doubtful. And the IP strategy of an organization is influenced greatly by its creative, innovative capacity, financial resources, field of technology, competitive environment. And this capability has to be built up. But ignoring the IP system altogether is in itself an IP strategy which may eventually prove very costly or even fatal in today's competitive world. If we ignore this IP strategy, then what there will be fatal result? The organization will be closed down. We don't stand tomorrow. We don't survive tomorrow. Thank you very much. With this, I conclude my presentation. Thank you for patient hearing. Now, in case any questions or anything to be discussed, we can take up quickly by a couple of minutes. Now, over to Mr. Nishant.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed lecture on intellectual property and its management. It was very broadly covered, sir. Various aspects we got to know. Now I request the audience to interact with Dr. Shashikant. Sir, if you have any questions, you may ask. Yes. Dr. Manita would like to interact. Dr. Manita, you may.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Audible. Good evening.
Okay. Sir, it was an excellent and informative presentation. Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one query. Sir, to promote the research in India, various research organizations are there. So, if we see, a lot of patents are also filed. But if we will compare the global market, the innovation made by Indian people are too less. Even we are mostly using foreign products. So my query is that what factor is lacking for popular innovation in India?
Okay, thank you, madam. It is a very pertinent question, of course. Let me share
Yes,
my
sir.
experience. 4 years before,
Okay, sir.
Ministry of MSME, Government of India has deputed me to visit one of the top technical institution or the university of the country to go and find out, discuss with the professors and the directors. Me and another member, we are a committee, small committee, we had been deputed to discuss with them what are the technologies available by the research scholars which have the potential for the commercialization, which can be transferred to the MSMEs or the others, which can be licensed so that they can set up their business. Madam, with due apology, we have to say sorry because we did not find a single technology, one of the top-notch institution of this country, which was ready for the commercialization. The reason behind, when we are talking to the professors director, they are very open. It happens with any academy. Sir, we are not interested because we are interested in publication of the papers in the international journals having good impact factor. So that the student, the scholars will be awarded with the doctorate degree and all their respective degrees, and we people will be getting a promotions. That is why should you look for this? In fact, we don't pay attention for this. Those who told there are eminent authors of the many very important books and is getting published and circulated, being used, referred by the students all universities across the world. Because this is not only that thing. Why it is happening? Because in our ecosystem, that is what I mentioned in my couple of slides from the beginning, that our academic industrial ecosystem is far away from the innovation and IP creation. Only if you leave only few corporate organizations, those who understand the important value, they have the separate innovation IP sale, legal sale, IP sale. They create IP innovation, they do innovation, they create IP and protect it. Because they are having a typical commercial problem. If they don't do it, they don't survive tomorrow market. So that is, other than that, no other institutions, neither in order, forget about micro, small, medium industry, no other universities, no other establishment, other public sector, public institutions also, they are not much. Now, probably, as I mentioned, in 2016, the Global Innovation, Government of India has come with the intellectual IP policy. And government of Odisha and other state governments also, they have got the innovation IP, because everybody has realized today that without having a proven IP, effective innovation IP policy at the grassroots level, no, we cannot advance, we cannot survive tomorrow. That is why, as a strategic was, now the more focus on creating such kind of IP awareness, creating technology support centers, IP facilitation centers, IP sales, innovation sales, taking this not only the IP creation, also taking the idea into commercialization, more focus into the idea to the entrepreneurship. Those kind of there, as you mentioned rightly, ma'am, so Global Innovation Index, India, of course, now it is, we are very happy to say it is 46th rank. But definitely it is not very looked at favor, but the things, the way it is being taken care, in future it will emerge as one of the developed country. And let me tell, I am sharing some of the things, some institution in our collaboration we are developing under Technology Development Fund. I was asked by some of the Government of India agency to go and see. No doubt this has been developed, and what has done, many scientists are involved, many academic institutions are involved, but when I investigated that particular what is the IP content in it, I did not find. Almost majority of the things are copied. There are very minor modification, very minor changes, which does not eligible us to claim, put our claim or write this is your IP creation. So those kind of things, actually it is only the ecosystem has to build now. As the government of India, even UGC is considering lot of government of India level, many of the discussion what is going on. Probably tomorrow, future, the research scholars, unless there is an IP having good commercial viability, good novelty in his business idea, the research idea, there is not good potentiality. Then probably, like today, there is a compulsion that should minimum 2 or 3 paper publication and good impact factor of the international journal. Maybe the call of the hour will be that unless there is an innovation IP created and which is having commercial will not be awarded the doctorate. Or the professors, associate professor will not getting promoted to the professor. Maybe similar kind of things government of India might be thinking. So the quality of the patent filing is not important. The quality of IP is really it matters. That is why there are different kind of tools, as I mentioned, the like an IP due diligence. When you make an investigation of the IP, then the qualitative figure of those IP, the qualitative contents of that particular IP can be revealed. It comes out, as I shared some of the report, very glimpse of some of the reports. I think this will take time. Already we are in the progress, and all India's government, state government, central government, universities, and all regulatory bodies like AICT, UGC, and all regulatory bodies. Now we are thinking together. So now, as I mentioned, TICS, we are having one technology innovation support center. We are connected globally to the attorneys and the other TICS and other WIPO network officials. We are attending many of the seminars. So these things are getting discussed at international level also. This problem is not only in India, it's almost India and all developing countries. But number of applications filed in China is much superior to us because China's IP innovation ecosystem is much stronger than us. So as you know, again, filing, not in the filing, many people get frustrated to file because one thing, it takes quite long time. By the time your IP will get filed, it takes 4 years, 5 years, then you will lose it to yours. Every innovation, every idea is having some anxiety level, right? It has certain, there is some time period. It should be really validated and approved. It is approved or rejected. It should have a decision on that particular. It takes 4 to 5 years. So that was a kind of bad situation earlier. That has been a lot of improvement is there. So things are moving. Let's hope we can do it. And the answer is with all of us as a professional, as an institution, as regulatory bodies, and the ecosystem in the progress. I think that's what I can say, ma'am. That in the clarity.
I request Dr. Sangeet Kumar Patra to interact with Dr. Kar.
Sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, in one slide, you explained about industry collaboration with research.
Yeah.
So, sir, so for that, to promote that fellowship, one fellowship is there, that is Prime Minister Fellowship for Doctoral Research. So what happens, sir? In each year, the applications are out and people are approaching for industry collaboration. In most of the cases, I have seen that the industry people are not, they are rejecting their applications and they are not supporting. And another case, so regarding promoting research to address the localized problem. So I have seen a lot of problems. Who are doing PhDs, research scholars, if they will address the local problem and write the journal papers, I have seen most of the time those papers are being rejected by some good journals. So if this will occur, how these scholars will be motivated for research to do, to address the localized problem. So there should be, some initiative by government of India is needed to address such kind of issues. So what is your view? What is your view on this kind of things?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Patro. It is really the relevant question of today's context, and that is what happening. Again, if you talk about it, it is weakness in ecosystem, right? And that because ecosystem is not following, whether it is at the government level or industry level or academia level. Anyway, but what is happening here, as you mentioned very rightly, sir, you look at this, look about the qualitative idea. If somebody rejects our application or does not accept it, if there is not a substantial qualitative input is there, it does not find in much viability. Now, that is why to address it. Now, as I mentioned, if they are coming with an idea, research idea, if you do an IP due diligence, as I mentioned to you, showcase to some of the slides, if you make a proper investigation of your potential idea, and if you suffice with your idea with can support with all those kind of reports and documents, probably there will be a very less chances of rejecting this idea. And this has got all possibility to get through. So that is one part we can take. Because once we can, there will be clarity, because when we make an IP due diligence support with an innovative idea for any kind of research activities, that report itself is from global authenticated database and authenticated information evidence based. It is just not based upon an idea that somebody will say yes or no. That in that case, it will be difficult for anybody to reject. And otherwise, what it depends on the mindset. Somebody may not able to go in the depth, or he may not find the surface level. He just make a scanning and do it. That is one part. Second thing, if such cases are happening, maybe we can approach to DPIIT, Department of Promotion of Industries and Trade, Ministry of Trade and Commerce. We can Commerce and Industries. We can approach them through CIPAM. If such cases, you can also bring to us, because we being a WIPO TICS network partner, being a government of India organization, Ministry of MSME, having our brand and name and connectivity and network with national to global level, we can take up the issue. I think these issues are not being properly raised as of now. We can write to the concerned industry or depend, because it's a policy matter. It is somebody has to look at this at the top. There could be two dimensions. One, that we investigated the idea to justify my idea as a potentiality. There is enough opportunity for the collaboration research, so that the opponent also will get a confidence that yes, there is a potentiality to take up this idea and to address it. If we accept also, we have to justify. If we reject also, we have to justify. Tomorrow we can ask him why you have rejected, and he will justify the ground. Yes, your idea is not having novelty, is not having viability, is not having the potentiality, whatever it may be. The justification, if you support this kind of idea, you will find difficult to justify technically. Other thing, other administrative part, naturally as a policy matter, we have to accelerate. We have to take this matter to the appropriate forum. If any such cases you can bring to us, I will take up with the Government of India level, through Ministry of Trade and Commerce, at least to put before appropriate authority, so the action can be taken. We are also in a WhatsApp group. There is a national level group. I am also, as I mentioned, I am a committee member for IP, National Core Committee member of the ministry. So we can also put this matter before we can apply this matter to the committee. We can put also in our social group network, so that the others can be aware, so that more and more questions can come, and naturally somebody will respond, because sometimes very senior officers are also the part of that group. I think that is the only solution. That is the way I can do. Or we can all together can think to take it ahead further. Yes, anything, Dr. Patro?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No, sir. It's okay.
Any other participant would like to interact with Dr. Kar? Yes, Dr. Biswajit Chan, you may please interact.
Sir, what is the reason, sir, in innovation, Odisha is lacking? And what is the progress in recent times, sir?
Yeah, again, these are the policy and same, as I mentioned, one answer, I have that ecosystem, right, for every such answers. As you know, because that seriousness among the industry, academia, and also administrative, and people have not put the right trust. So that is the reason. So whether it is innovation or entrepreneurship or manufacturing capability, manufacturing competitiveness development, not happening. But now, suppose now Government of Odisha has taken Startup Odisha, also has been created. Now we are talking to the Startup Odisha, and now they are mentioning like World Skill Mission is coming, World Skill Training Center is coming in Bhubaneswar. It is getting established for more than 1,340 or 80 crores rupees. So how to create an ecosystem, that is what the lacking. And there is not only creating the infrastructure, so creating an institution of the result, institution of the performance or the objective orientation. So I think that has to be, sir, that is the reason it is not going. But as you know, the awareness, let me share, 4 years before, when the IP Facilitation Center was created here, I had gone to the ministry and gave presentation. We are having zero knowledge about the IP. Even I have lost some of the patent credibility, because I published, I was excited to go and give a presentation in international conference, and paper was published. I was very happy. But subsequent moment, when I came to know, when I wanted to file for the patent, my application got rejected because already it has been published. So there is a huge lack of awareness. So how to protect, when to protect, how to protect. So earlier, Okay, that was not the now. Where to protect, how to protect for those things. There are some facilities and services. There are some lot of many programs, campaigns going on at government level, institution level, and university level. So those kind of things, once this ecosystem will keep continuing, and probably the things will definitely improve. And sometimes we are also talking to the Odisha. I mean, some of the professionals, those who are belong to Odisha, and they are in different IP portfolio, managing different IP portfolio, the positions in very different areas. We have discussed once. So why can't we create one IP mission, IP 200, innovation IP 200 for this year 2000? That is what if you all together can join hand, all institutions, industries and the government and academia, and we put our hand, yes, we will go with a mission IP 200 for the state of Odisha, then probably we can come up taking this matter, but it will take time again. As you know, the government and other institutions need to up to their interest and strategic policy. So there is a lot of gap here. As you know, Odisha usually people always, I always remember one very our visionary leader, Mr. Biju Patnaik, led Biju Patnaik's version. Odisha is a rich state where poor people reside. Odisha is rich of mineral resources and lot of resources. Resources are not available, but we are not able to encash it, not create opportunities for this because of kind of the mindset, kind of the attitude. Probably those things has to be changed. As you mentioned, it's nothing but changing the mindset, changing the attitude, changing the culture of innovation and IP protection. So if it can be linked, can be changed, and this is not one person, either it is your responsibility, my responsibility. Altogether, if this ecosystem can be built, the things will happen. Probably this is happening, but very slow. It is not that progress, what is being desired or what is expected at per the pace. That is what I think in that way, sir. As far as my knowledge and interaction with the department and government agency is concerned.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any other participant would like to interact? Okay. If no more interactions, thank you, sir, for the lecture. I now request AC Faculty President Dr. Trilochan Jana to provide the vote of thanks.
Thank
Dr. Jana.
you, Dr. Nishant, for giving me the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to convey my heartiest thanks to Dr. Sachikant Koro. Such a nice topic he has delivered, and he has covered all round regarding the innovation and intellectual property rights management strategy in Industry 4.0 perspective. So he has told about regarding different types of research activities and different types of intellectual property patents, etc. So thank you, sir, very much for your nice awareness and also some points regarding this intellectual property rights. So very much thank you, sir, from the Department of Civil Engineering and AIC Student Chapter, and also from the SOA deemed to be university in favor of. And also, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to our head of the department and SWA authority for arranging such type of wonderful lecture series. That is what we listened today, sir's voice. And also, on behalf of the Department of Civil Engineering and ADC Student Chapter, very much convey my heartiest thanks to our beloved faculty members, staffs, and student fraternity for attending and listening patiently this nice webinar. And thanks, Dr. Nishant, also arranging very much amicably and also managing this platform in a well-defined manner. So again, I must convey my heartfelt thanks to you all. So have a wonderful evening and good night. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Nishant, Dr. Jana, and thank you all
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
nice, patient hearing and being here with me, bearing with me for almost nearly 2 hours.
Thank you, sir. It was our pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So with this, we officially come to the end of the session. I wish everybody a very good evening and a very good night.